I'm slightly ahead of schedule, but I'm still having a lot of fun with Astronautilus. I thought maybe after all the testing I'd get kind of sick of it, but no. There are games I haven't finished that I've gotten sick of already, which is a good sign. Before I get started on Act 2 here, I want to say I got 3 achievements last time. Graffiti wall for getting the spray can. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention you can't reroll the spray can item after you beat Mimic for the first time. I thought to do that in testing. I was like, oh, did I catch something? But no, Neo actually thought ahead on that one. I also got the buzz for entering the buzz, and Protocol L for vaporizing Ampray the way I did. So, I'm not sure what quest I'll end up doing here. I guess it just sort of depends on which area I get of the first two. I'm already pondering strategies for the pea shooter achievement. I think that's gonna be very fun. I forgot to mention before, the achievements looked kind of weird, and I asked Neo about that. Aside from maybe some Steam overlay issues or something like that, Neo has actually deleted some achievements. I don't remember most of the ones from before the update, but I think it might have had something to do with me talking to him about how I view achievements nowadays. That, it was all well and good until I started talking, and then I already feel worse in my throat. I guess I'm not over my cold yet. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, I told Neo that I think, this is my philosophy in general now, I think an achievement is only worth whatever it makes you do. So if an achievement is asking you to do a boring, repetitive, mindless task, then it's not an achievement. It's a boring, repetitive, mindless waste of time. Like, it doesn't even deserve the moniker of achievement. On the flip side, something like beating the game with only the pea shooter is much more interesting and actually contributes replay value rather than a time sink. I'll just take Needler. I think I should save my bombs. Yeah, one example of the pea shooter strategy I was thinking. Maybe if I don't use bombs at all and I pick up the plasma upgrade, I can amass some damage. Even if I don't pick up weapons. Crown would be good for a similar reason. I guess focus would be amazing, assuming I don't get hit, and at that point, I guess it would be crown, focus, plasma. Maybe something to generate shields. Shell is pretty good, to be honest. I'm getting lost thinking about this. I should have done it on my own time. Yeah, because if I took focus, then I would really want shell. Anyway, cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah, when Neo deleted some of the old achievements, I think it... Oh, there's Crown. I feel like I still don't want it. Still want to see if other items show up from sushi, and now that I know that it can give you shields, I'm now looking at the upgrade differently. Yeah, when he deleted the achievements, there were some blank achievement icons that I don't think showed up in the list. They were just in the preview and the library page, if you know Steam. Maybe some people are playing this game on itch, because it did release on there as well. I think it originally had an itch.io release as well. And could you imagine if Steam starts producing physical copies of games with no DRM? At that point they would just be flawless. That's like my only problem with Steam the more I think about it. Could go for a trade. Seems like the most lucrative option. And I guess at some point, probably not now, I'll have to start a run with the idea I will take up Shanjon, what was it, Stash? Yeah, I think that's what it was. How exactly does that work, though? I'll figure it out later. Haven't gotten the Pearl option yet. Wonder if it's random. Because if I remember correctly, before the different Sea Slug NPCs asked for... like, they gave you different options on how to pay depending on the NPC, I think. Is it worth re-rolling? Nah. I'll go with that. Most of the time, the trade is absolutely worth it. Like, the cost doesn't even matter. And if you didn't recoup the cost, then you probably got more damage out of it. Sure. A raise, okay. I can check on my Coral and... yeah, I guess I'll do Coralline's quest. This is where the quests start getting way more interesting. Act 1 was more of, easing you into the basic concept, I suppose. This is where they start getting long and complicated. No, there's drone. I did unlock that. I said that there's like 1 or 2 unlocks left from Eel Wall. It's 1. I forgot that I grabbed drone. I do want to see Coralline, so this makes sense. Yeah, sure. I'm not sure how the discount stacks with the reroll discount. If it does, I assume it does. It's just something I've never paid much attention to. just sort of enjoying the ambience right now. Well, yeah, I have to pick that. Now we have the option to ask about the amplifier. I actually don't remember if Pimbus had any extra dialogue at this point in the game. Maybe he did? Anyway, I do think there's more dialogue as well here. Glitches. You want to know more about the weird green glitches? Well, all that stuff is called materialization. I can tell you what I've heard. There's a computer deep in the core of the planet, making things. All kinds of old junk and technology just shows up out of the blue. Some say all of those tools were used to strip mine this planet, but whatever. Or whoever was doing that is gone. Why did I have to get sick right before the release? Excuse me. More on the glitches. Wish the materialization would stop. Rays was almost completely destroyed, leaving just a few coral species behind. And whatever processes are still running keep new coral from growing well. Ray says she's trying to find a way to control it, but I think I'll check on the garden before I get started. There's quite a bit to do now. That seems right. I think this was right. That looks like a growth stage to me. That's not what it looked like when I planted it, I'm pretty sure. Yep. I can't quite remember. That's right. Something like that. Wonder if Neo actually used multiple terms for the same level, because I was wondering between none, low, and basic, if there is that level of precision. Like, yeah, in this case, basic pH, I don't exactly understand. Guess I'll try that. Although it doesn't look like it's gone through a growth stage, so I'm not sure if I got it right. This would be my guess. Anyway, until I've successfully grown some of these, I'm not going to worry too much about experimenting with the parameters. And that was definitely right. Why can't I comprehend this sometimes? Yep. Moderate pH. Okay. Enough of that. So if I had the, what was the upgrade actually called? Oh, that's strange. It didn't jump to the right category. If I mouse over and upgrade it, does. I wonder if that's something I missed that's not working correctly in the data log. Should be around here somewhere. Oh, voltage, that's what it was called. I just know it had to do with plasma bombs. Yeah, plasma bomb pickups doubled. If I had that right now, that would be a pretty significant damage upgrade. Well, I guess it's kind of minor, actually. But that's a shield. If only I didn't get hit. But I'm not that far off, so I can still go a little bit over the POW limit. Now let's get started on this amplifier. What's that? Asteria sent you to ask about the amplifier. Because Ray sent you to ask Asteria. That's interesting. She usually doesn't like to get Asteria involved. I guess things are getting down to the wire. Well, I do know of a way to find the lab nodes that Asteria mentioned. But I'll need you to snap some photos first. It looks like you don't have enough room for photo bombs. Ah, here's something. I hope he's changed it, or else I'm not going to be able to do this. You might have to use some of your bombs to free up space. So wasteful. Yeah, so before, the sort of handholdy restriction that stops you from using bombs when there's nothing on screen that's affected by bombs would actually soft lock you out of starting this quest if you bought everything in the shop and are full on bombs. That happened to me by accident. I didn't even think of that. But in general, I don't think that... I think she can give you 2 photo bombs, but I only need the 1. In general, I don't think design like that is a good idea. Because sometimes you might end up soft-locking the player. Other times you're stopping the player from doing things he would want to do that you didn't think of, that are actually cool strategies and, you know. Oh, all of this dialogue repeats. Oh, whoops. Hope I didn't skip over anything there, but it looks a bit like a pink chum with a long snout. Right, the Sniffer. I forgot there's no dialogue options or anything. Oh well. Long snout. But if you can take its picture, I can make one out of marrow that will help you. Just come back once you've got it. And there it is. Trusty Sniffer. Track down a Sniffer in arrays and take its photo. Scroll the cycle bombs. That's a nice reminder. So that's a quest item bomb. It doesn't even appear in the data log, I'm pretty sure. Which I didn't think of until now. I guess Neo could add more stuff to the data log if he wants to. Though it's a little unnecessary in this case, and yeah, you can ask for more photo bombs. Back for more photo bombs? It looks like you're out of room for photo bombs. You know what to... Wait, what was that? I need to be more careful with the dialogue. You know what to do. Alright. I'll go frame by frame and mention what I accidentally skipped. Maybe in the next part. You see the different fish appearing in the spawners here. That's what you gotta look out for. Originally, the Sniffer would just appear somewhere in, like, the middle of the screen. And it'll be asleep. And I had no trouble doing the quest that way. Huh. Oh, I was wondering what that was. That was a ball of pearls that I couldn't pick up. And you have to keep looping through arrays until you get this done. I guess you can amass max life with pearl chains. That's one way you can abuse how some of these quests work. But I don't think it's that big of a deal, because until you complete these quests, you can only go so far. Anyway, I wanted to say something. Right, so I completed the quest and I said to Neo, with those fish appearing in the coral, I thought I would have to react to a Sniffer popping out of the coral and snap a photo right then. But this works too, I told him, but he liked the idea so much that he changed the quest. So now you do have to pay attention to those fish popping up, and now it makes more sense as well, because those fish were kind of a pointless cosmetic detail that activates now for some reason. But now they are actually part of the quest. Yeah, you also have to think about what you shoot. Maybe I was too quick there. That one doesn't seem to have anything. That was not a Sniffer. Yeah, I think if I got Septic instead, I could have started Roach's quest rather than this one. And you could also ignore both of their quests and go for Jittens first if you wanted to. I'm pretty sure. Why not? Both are good. What do I like better? Wider or longer? Maybe the laser. Nope. This is a heck of a time to start questioning. Oh, there it is. That's the Sniffer. And yeah, that did actually take an in-game screenshot, which is kind of neat. I guess at first I was thinking about how the quest itself is supposed to work, but now I realize the end result of the Sniffer quest is just spending a lot of extra time. Well, not the end result, but currently all it's doing is making you spend a lot of time in arrays. Alright, here's your photo. You got the photo? Nice, let's have a look. Wow, good shot. Okay, what we're going to do is make a new Sniffer from the photo. Sniffers have a very keen sense of smell, so the Sniffer should be able to track down the lab node with the amplifier part. Let's head to my garden to get to work. Oh, they've progressed again, so I got both of those wrong, but I think these are good. Hopefully I can mess with them after this. Alright. The first step is to open the Book of Coral and plant the marrow seed in this patch. Take your time. That's what that's reserved for. I was being vague earlier, but now, if you turn past the last page, there's this marrow. Use with projectors, I think. Keep from Coralline. That's interesting. If I'm reading those correctly, anyway. Yep, that's looking good. Do you know what marrow is, Little Wanderer? We did actually see it in thermal, so I'm gonna say that. Oh, you've seen it in thermal? Yes, that's a hotspot of marrow. It's the largest hotspot in our local area. You might have an intuition for what it does. I should probably still give you a proper explanation. Let me try an analogy. Do you know what stem cells are, Little Wanderer? If I was role-playing as the player character, I don't know what I would have to say, but from my point of view, yes. Right. So you know they can turn into muscle, neurons, any other type of cell. Marrow functions as the stem cells of Carcina. A marrow seed can turn into any of the creatures you've seen. And in this case, it can turn into a sniffer. In fact, let me turn on the projector. Those photos can be loaded in and imitate the creature that they captured. Ideally, if the marrow sees the sniffers, it will remember and turn into them. But it might take a little bit, so let's wait. You know, Little Wanderer, I'm kinda curious. Now that you're working with her to fuel your ship, what do you think of Ray? I think it's gonna depend on how much of the lore you know, which of these you would say. At this stage, I feel like saying mysterious. Yeah, it does feel like there's a lot of stuff she knows that we don't. I wish she'd tell us more. She makes me think for another reason, though. You saw Oarfish in thermal, right? I actually don't know if you have to. Oh man, it wasn't this bad until I started recording. What rotten luck. At least I'm not coughing on recording. I don't know if going into the thermal shop is mandatory. I wasn't paying attention. Was there another node there? Maybe there's some way to avoid it. But yeah, these are kind of equivalent. Is it just me, or are the letters on this vertical line stretched by 1 pixel? That's a little strange. I don't remember noticing that before. Comatose? Yes, he hasn't woken up since, well, before Oarfish was an expert marrow shaper. Marrow shapers worship marrow and were able to use it. I think there's 2 missing there, as that's probably supposed to be to heal injuries and create life on pre-colonial Carcina. I did catch quite a few typos, but maybe I missed that one. Sorry, Neo. But now that Coralline said that, I never paid too much attention to the last page of the book. Maybe it was Oarfish's book? Why else would it say keep from Coralline? That's kinda neat. Still picking up on new things. He was one of the best. I studied his books to learn what I know. Okay, yeah, now it's obvious. He worked closely with Ray and Asteria on a project a while ago, something to control the glitches. But all of a sudden, the project stopped. What happened? Marrow shapers can work with marrow, but shaping is more like a conversation than using a tool. And if you make the marrow upset, well... Oh. Look, it's fully formed. Your very own Sniffer. Ah, look, it imprinted on you. Be careful, though. Marrow tends to not always remember its form. If you shoot it, it might become something dangerous. I would be more worried about it hurting you than you hurting it. You can come back if something ends up happening, though. See you, little wanderer. Yeah, can I go back in now? Yep. Oh, is it not quite fully grown? Fair enough. I'm gonna abandon these two. I think I just messed them up. But I do want to finalize these. So that should be it. Pretty sure if a parameter isn't mentioned, it has to be average. Yep. So next time, those should be fully grown. I have a lot to say about this, but after a level or so, that's when I'll talk about it, so you can see how it works now, because it was pretty different in testing. I think I'll do that, and burst is also fine. So you want to avoid shooting the Sniffer, as Coralline said. If you do shoot it, however, it behaves just like the marrow in thermal, and turns into new enemies, which is really cool. When it flies forward like that, it can hurt you, just like the marrow enemies. It's basically marrow, but it also has this form, which is pretty cool, I think. Lore and gameplay work together here. So yeah, if you shoot it intentionally or accidentally, you'll have to deal with some new enemies. Which I really respect, going to that effort for a quest like this. So before, it didn't transform. Instead, whenever you would hit it, I think it would fly forward, and then it'll turn back into this, and there was a period where it was invulnerable. I think that's still the case now, but it used to have only 3 hit points. So if you shoot it 3 times, you would fail the quest. You'd have to visit Coralline again to get a new Sniffer. And furthermore, it used to, I think, have the same base code as an enemy, except it would follow you and it doesn't shoot. So you could run into it and take damage. So that was the real danger, is not to double back on yourself while you're moving around, and also not shoot it. I tolerated that, and I didn't have too much trouble doing it, but in hindsight it wasn't really that interesting. Compared to what it is now, which is very interesting, and there's a bit more to it than just this. Oh, I can't even shoot it right now. Huh. Oh, I know why that is. It used to be that if you shoot it at the end of a level like this, it would fly off and disappear. And it might seem like you've lost it and you failed, but if you go through the teleporter, it comes back at the start of the next level. So Neo's solution to that was to just make it invulnerable and the screen stops scrolling. I guess. Yeah, sure. I think I'll hold on to my bombs and maybe play circuits. I forget if you could get the marrow to transform during a boss fight or not. Oh, I don't think Lancer did this last time. You know, since I know of some Deltarune influence already, I wonder if this boss's name is another bit of it. Could be. It does make sense even if you don't know Deltarune. It's still an appropriate name. Hopefully by the start of my next playthrough I'll be over this. It's starting to annoy me. Maybe just as much as it could annoy you. And relays, so you definitely don't want to shoot the marrow sniffer here. As if there isn't enough going on in relays already. But you know, why not? So yeah, that enemy hides inside of another. You saw earlier created a tether towards me and it was climbing along it. If you don't kill the enemy it's attached to, it'll eventually reach you and damage you. Kinda cool. That's the thing, the enemies it turns into are not just reskins of existing enemies or anything. They're pretty unique, like that strange coral thing. Well, there goes my pal. No big deal, though. If I survived a bit longer, I would have gotten a shield from parts. Maybe the cache, actually. Because that can restore my pal. Ah, there it is. Takoyaki. What is that in real life, actually? I don't know my Japanese food that well. I think it gives damage, right? Yep. So that's also very good. 10% POW. Now at this point I can try to end chains early just to create a shield. Or I could be greedy and not do that. Before, I'm pretty sure that purposefully ending the chain was just the correct choice. Which is why I like the new system better. Like, yeah, ending it now would be the safe choice. What's the fun in that? People are watching as well. Like, gotta show off, if possible. Oh, whoops. And I got the shield anyway, plus some extra damage. Wait, have I gone into a shop in Relays yet? I don't think I have. I have plenty of pearls, I have that upgrade. Sure. What is it, drone? Yes? Drone? Why am I calling you drone? It's because you were built to fulfill a mission. Go on. You want to know what I mean by mission? You forgot? You were built for a purpose, drone. All of you were. But you failed for some reason, so now you're here. More drones? Yes, you and your whole Star-Forsaken cohort. I'm glad you forgot. I don't know how. Thank Carsona, they're all gone now. Failure? I'm still here, so are Coralline and Roach. If you succeeded, we would all be gone. But you didn't, so here I am, talking to you. Why help me? Why am I helping you now? Because your mission changed. That means you're not a robot. You can make your own decisions. And I have to hold you accountable. You can change the world, I need to see it through. So that's very interesting. I'm not sure if in the original release it ever became clear what's going on with... I think originally the story was that you're just some random alien visitor with no particular reason why you landed on Carsona, but now it's quite different. And I quite like how it plays out. I was trying to figure out how the story would end, because during testing, Neo was gradually making the acts, so at first I think I was just playing Act 1. Then Act 2 was finished, and in between each act being finished, I talked to Neo. And especially after Act 2, I was trying to figure out, or maybe even before Act 2, actually. Maybe before Act 2 was fully finished. And, I did not guess how the story would end. I think that's safe to say. Eels? Why did the eels keep attacking you even though they're on good terms with me? Oh, they just want your parts. Drones are hard to come by. There's also different clans within the bigger group. Some are more territorial. What are the different eel clans? I mostly work alongside the Menders. They're the most willing to listen to my ideas. The eels attacking you are probably scavengers. Some of them find it hard to organize. The worst are the acolytes, machine worshippers, completely unreasonable. What is machine worship? Some eels believe that materialization is the act of a god. Some worship Worm itself, while others believe Worm is merely an ambassador of the divine. Others think Worm doesn't exist. I'll admit I haven't seen it myself. Oh, I swear when I speak regularly it gets 5 times worse. Whatever. Do I think there's a god? No. More of those in Carsona thought that before Worm came. When we fail, we like blaming external forces instead of ourselves. After Worm, God became redundant. Good stuff. What else can I say? I like that there's way more going on now. Because before this, the shopkeepers existed, but I think aside from maybe a little bit of dialogue, they weren't really that well established, or there wasn't much world building in the game. What do I want here? Well, these are damage now. POW specifically. What the heck? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. And this is also damage. Yeah, because I have 4 bombs, so that gets salvaged into HP. I'm at max HP with a shield, so that gets salvaged into POW. I think that's really good Star of Providence influence. It means that pickups always do something. Even in something like Devil May Cry, there's a minor version of this, where if you're already full on life, healing pickups turn into money instead. I always thought that was nice. And it technically encourages you to be better at the game. Because it means you'll earn a little bit more money. Yeah, it's funny to enter Act 2 and not have spoken with Ray in her shop. But her quest just sort of happens after the others. You don't need to visit her shop for it. So it makes sense. Oh, and I'm pretty sure that when it comes to eels attacking us, Ray is talking about an enemy I haven't encountered. I think, unless I'm forgetting about something. It's an enemy in here, a new one, in the update. I can also be greedy in the sense of not ending a chain and trying to keep it going. Okay, Ampray. I disrespected you last time, but let's have a fair fight. Can you actually shoot the... Yes, you can. I can't imagine it does much. Maybe if certain enemies are generated by it. Maybe I'm entering the territory of being a bit too strong now. And yeah, look at that. Thermal. Originally, these particle effects appeared around the Sniffer. And it was maybe a little bit confusing. At least I think I somehow misinterpreted what the Sniffer was doing before it was changed to more obviously point towards thermal. Let me get the unlocks out of the way. And the buzz as well. So that's the last thing from here. I think there was an achievement for that, but I'll see in between recordings. Yeah, the Sniffer's with me. I don't think I ever did this. Hopefully nothing messes up. Who knows? I think Neo sort of used me as a consultant. At least that's how it played out. On top of like a first draft tester to catch some more major things. And I did find quite a few crashes. So that's good, but I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that, like, I didn't bother messing with the settings much. Though in one instance I did, because of the settings that I had, I caught something that was messed up with specific settings. I can only hope that the rest of the testers caught all of the much more niche stuff, and nothing critical slipped through. I'm still a little paranoid. There is new dialogue, so Ah, the Divine Relay. The Divine Relay, boss? Ray hasn't told you about it? God uses electropathy just like us eels. We can feel its hums and charges, and it can feel our prayers. But we can't talk like an eel-to-eel communication. The newest generation of machine priests had a theory, though. What if we amplified our prayer with a repeater, a tower, talk to God and it could talk back? That's what the Divine Relay is for. Ooh, I forgot about all these options. I guess I'll go in order. I forget if you can do all of these or if it's just one per dialogue tree. Understand. How do we know God understands us? It protects us from the worst of materialization storms. Its divine hum reveals its trust for us. We know it only gives us what we can bear. Ah yeah, okay. That's good. Technology. Building a transmission tower like this was quite the feat. Don't think it's ever been done before. Sap my own spines, boss? Our biomechanical abilities are better than even your little machines. Parts of the tower are manually operated by eels, weaving the connections together spine by spine. Haha. Actually, Ray's pretty mad at us about that. Whenever we have a design meeting, she slinks and seeds about a lack of physical redundancy. But honestly, she needs to take it easy. Cooperation. Oh, it was not easy to get the clans to agree to this, boss. In fact, we didn't. Some older acolytes think this is disrespectful to God and will earn its anger. Others want the tower off their territory. And some others, well, they just want to get buzzed all cycle long. Can't blame them. We've got the good stuff. And now, see if I can actually win this. Yup. I guess I should have saved up some pearls. Yeah, that was the stupid part. Even still, I can't play that much. Oh well. Hindsight is 20/20. I could reroll. Sure. None of these match. Alright, let's continue. Oh wait, I don't have to read any of this. It's just generic dialogue each time. Still nothing. Oh, that's perfect. Huh. Wait, can I actually? No, I can't. Right, you do have to choose reroll to lock them. I'm by no means an expert at this minigame. I'm just not sure if I lock when I choose reroll, if I then spend a bomb, is that going to get rid of the locks? That's one thing I forget about. Might as well try it. Nope, the locks stay. So when he tries to reroll, none of these will be affected. That's good. I guess I'll raise and I'll use my bombs whenever he tries to reroll so I can lock them again. Spike would be really ballsy. I guess I could use my bombs as extra turns. I'll give it a shot. Nice try. Maybe I should have spiked a bit later. But I don't know. Maybe this is all a matter of luck. I think if I have a similar set of bombs with one cluster bomb and more pearls, I'll definitely win here, and I'll have to do that at some point. Oh yeah, you still get whatever the bomb would grant. Huh, the locks are gone. I find that Jin is very stubborn. He doesn't really fold much, if at all. Now the locks disappear. That's a little strange. Damn. Yeah, you definitely need more pearls to win that. Okay. At least I know what to do differently next time. Either I'm yapping too much or I'm absolutely right that these quests take longer. Looking at my stopwatch right now. I've gotten to the habit of doing that, so I have an idea how long my videos are. Oh, I did a little bit of damage to it without making it transform. So there's something nasty. This is... If you struggled with thermal before, it gets even harder now because the marrow do that pulse, makes the marrow sniffer transform, making things that much more chaotic. But I quite like that gimmick, it's really cool. This weapon is good. We'll take an upgrade. I don't know, it's either axolotl or voltage. Wait, axolotl's gonna give me more POW now because I'm full. Sure. Maybe it's excessive, but why not? That was close. As was that. Oh, this is a cool thing. The thing I shot is bait, and then that thing jumps out from the bottom of the screen. If you try to move past it without shooting the bait, it'll jump out and bite you. So it's like a wall with a weak point, effectively. In fact, that's what it was in Neo's design notes. But he wanted to adapt it to the deep sea context, so he came up with that thing. And the bait. Pretty cool. I've actually seen the exact same concept in another horizontally scrolling shmup. But it's just like a circular turret that shoots impassable lasers straight up and down. I said the same thing to Neo. Huh. Probably the shop. Some bombs would be nice. Hi again, Oarfish. Now we know his name, I suppose. Yeah, just secure the win at this point. but I think it's pretty much secured already. I still don't have a feel for the sine wave pattern on those. Oh, that was very stupid. Almost a disaster. I was just about to make some comment about maybe there's a little bit of get rich, not get rich, rich get richer to the damage system, but now I just lost everything. Huh. I have never seen that before. Can you actually stop it by shooting the node it's attached to? I assume so. But they were invulnerable because I shot them recently. That's cool, actually. Yeah, like that. Huh, where's the marrow sniffer? At least now I'll get a proper fight with this boss. You can see it's quite beefy. Ah, that was a bad spot to be in. Might want to get a good plasma bomb in. They are quite strong. Actually, I have to focus here. Yeah, that seemed decent. I do mostly know the boss well enough now, though. It did used to kill me before, I will admit. One of the tougher ones. Huh. Uh-oh. I guess I messed it up. Damn. But I thought the Sniffer couldn't die anymore. Huh. Well, this is gonna take an extra run. Damn. I'll still hold off on these. And I guess I'll pick Zipper then. This is another new weapon that I have a lot to say about, but since I'll have to redo most of that, I'll save it for then. Fires hit scan shots. Hold left mouse button to charge a line of AoE damage. I'm questioning if that's an oversight, actually, because I'm pretty sure the Sniffer isn't supposed to die anymore. Huh. Did I shoot it before I went through the teleporter? I'll have to review the footage. Oh well. No meaningful progress this time. Thank you for watching.